Hello students, I welcome you to our class 11 from starting of new journey from class 10. Students, in commerce we have three main subjects: accountancy, economics and business studies, and today we will be discussing about the first chapter of business studies, that is trade, commerce and industry, or we can say an introduction to the business and trade. And the topic what we are going to discuss is introduction and characteristics of business. So here we go. So before understanding the concept and the characteristics of business, let's go through the this point: economic and non-economic activity. Yes, students, economic activities are those all activities which are related to the transaction or giving or receiving of money, where exchange of money takes place. In the same way, non-economic activity is the activity where the exchange of money does not take place. It will be more clearer by these examples. Economic activity, those activities whose objective is to earn money and to create wealth. Example, people work in factories or cooking food in restaurant. Yes. Why do people work in factories, either as a manager or worker or at any post? It is because they are getting salaries, wages for the same. In the same way, if a chef or a cook is cooking in a restaurant, it is because he is getting money in front of exchange of his service. So these all activity can be called as an economic activity. Okay. Whereas non-economic activities, those activities whose aim is not to earn money but to satisfy the social, psychological and emotional needs. For example, a housewife cooking food for her family, or a teacher training his or her daughter at home. Yes, so if the chef is cooking at the restaurant, it can be said as an economic activity because they are getting as the money in exchange of that in the form of salary or any other remuneration. But if the same chef is cooking in own house, then it cannot be said as an economic activity. It is because they are cooking for the family to feed their household members. In the same way, when a teacher is teaching at a school or any other place, it can be said as an economic activity because they are doing this for getting the fees. But when the same teacher is teaching their own daughter or son or children, so it can be said as a non-economic activity. Other example of non-economic activities such as we go to temple and we give some money, or else we can say that we do some kind of donation. So these all are non-economic activities. Okay. Well, as we discussed about economic and non-economic activity, the economic activity contains three types. They are business, profession and employment. We will be discussing about profession and employment in our other video. Today we are going to discuss about the concept of business and characteristics. Business refers to those economic activities involving the purchase, production, or can say procurement or sale of goods and service with a motive of earning profit by satisfying the human needs in society. That is by maintaining the or watching the utility needs of the people and fulfilling them. So here we go with the characteristics of business. The very first characteristics of business is an economic activity. Yes, students, because when you are doing any kind of work for the purpose of social or mental or emotional view, so there the matter of money does not come, and so it cannot be said as a business. The very first characteristics of business, that because it is an involvement of money, it is an economic activity. Business is considered as an economic activity as it is undertaken with the objective of earning money and livelihood, and not for just psychological or emotional satisfaction. The second characteristic is production or procurement of goods and service. Yes, every business enterprise either produces or procures good or service from their producers. Okay, let me clear. Procurement or procurements the processing of goods. Goods may consist of consumer or industrial goods, and the service may include transportation, banking, insurance, and many other. Okay, so the second characteristics, production or procurement of goods and service. Yeah. Now let's move on to the third characteristic, sale or exchange of goods and service. Yes, business involves sale or exchange of goods or service It is because the production of goods and service for the self consumption is not a business. Yes, when you are having a shop and you are utilizing some of your own products for the consumption of your own, so it cannot be said up as a business. Okay, as the farmer who is cultivating crop for sale is involved in business activity, but if the same farmer is cultivating the crop for himself for feeding his own family, then it cannot be said as a business. Similarly, buying goods to gift or someone else is not business, okay, but buying goods for resale is business. So there must be the sale or exchange of goods or service in business. Okay, so these are the first three characteristics, and business is an economic activity as it includes the exchange of money. It is a production and procurements of goods and services which is provided as a seller or as a buyer, and the next is sale or exchange of goods and service. Now we will be moving to the next characteristics. The very first here is dealing in goods and services at a regular basis. Yes, students, it is because if a person is dealing in goods only because just for his own need or once or twice, then it cannot be said as a business. I will be clearing this with a good example. If I am selling my home right now because I want to shift to other new home, so this cannot be said as a business. Yes, but if I am a real estate broker or I am a real estate developer and my business is to make buildings and to sell it to the consumer, then it can be said as a business. It is because as a developer or as a real estate broker, I am doing this on the regular basis. But in the first example, what I said, if I am moving to a new home and so for that reason I am selling my current home, it cannot be said as a business because it is not on regular basis. Okay, every year we do not shift to a new home and sell our old home. So that is the characteristic, dealing in goods and services at a regular basis. Next is profit earning. Yes, because business is directly an economic activity, so nothing comes in front before than money. So profit earning is a very, very important characteristic, and it is the main purpose of the business. Okay, if the profit motive is missing in a transaction, then it cannot be considered as a business transaction. For example, goods given in charity are not a business activity. No businessman can survive without earning sufficient profit. So earning profit is a very important characteristic of business. Okay. Next is uncertainty of return. As in other remuneration methods like salary, wages, there are fixed amount that at the end of the month the person will be getting this much amount of money. But in a business it is totally not at all fixed from the beginning. The uncertainty of risk is always there. In a boom period, in a festival period, the business may earn lot of profit. In the recession period or off season period, it may earn less profit. And in some kind of very bad situation, or even we say worse, in kind of right now in the time of corona, we see that there are many businesses which are running into losses because they are not working. So the certainty of return is not at all there. Okay, profit can be more, profit can be less, or there may be more loss, or there may be a less loss, or even there may be a break-even point. So we cannot judge that yes, what we will be getting right now, that same we will be receiving in the future also. Okay, and now let's move on to the last element, that is a characteristic, that is element of risk. Yes, business have many kind of risk. Okay, it is because risk management is very important. Okay, there is always a risk of loss, there is always a risk of thief, or there is always a risk of fire. Okay, so in any kind of such kind of accident or incident, entire business the businessman have to suffer for the same. So these were the various characteristics of business. Thank you. We will be coming soon with our next video with